Recorded Books presents an unabridged recording of Jumping the Scratch by Sarah Weeks, narrated by Johnny Heller and directed by David Gassaway.
Chapter 1. I have a pretty good memory, but it's got a mind of its own. It's never been very interested in holding on to anything having to do with numbers, or spelling, or ways of knowing when it's appropriate to use a semicolon. It's impossible to predict what it will decide is important. Sometimes whole years of my life have whizzed by, and very little of what's happened is stuck. But there is one year I remember in such vivid detail. I sometimes feel as though I'm still in the middle of it, even though it all happened a long time ago. I was 11 years old, and in the 5th grade at Pine Tree Elementary when Arthur came to visit. I didn't see what the big fuss was about, just because some guy named Arthur was coming to our class. We were supposed to wear our best clothes and be on our best behavior and not shout out, and a lot of other things I didn't bother to listen to when Miss Miller told us about his coming. I didn't listen to much of anything she said that year. I wasn't interested, and I didn't care. Looking back on it now, I guess that might have had something to do with why she was always yelling at me. "Are you listening, James? Best behavior," Miss Miller said, giving me the big fish eye. My name is not James. It's Jamie. It says so right on my birth certificate. But I never bothered to tell Miss Miller that. Somehow it seemed right for her to call me by the wrong name. She didn't have any idea who I was. That day, while she talked on and on about Arthur's visit, I did what I always did. Reached back with my thumbs and plugged my ear holes closed. But Miss Miller's voice found its way inside my head somehow anyway, like smoke curling under a locked door. Arthur this, Arthur that. I pressed my thumbs down harder, then let go. Open, closed, open, closed, faster and faster, until it chopped up the words like cabbage for slaw and made it sound like she was speaking Chinese. I just kept doing that until she was done talking and it was finally time for us to go home. I hated everything about that year in Miss Miller's class. We'd moved to Traverse City in November, 2 months after the school year had begun, and by the time spring rolled around, I still hadn't made a single friend. It was my own fault. It's hard for people to like you when you can't stand yourself. Best clothes, Miss Miller had said. That was a joke. I had 2 kinds of clothes at home, clean and dirty. I didn't plan on telling my mother what Miss Miller had said. I knew she would just say, "Make do, Jamie." She said that all the time after we moved in with my Aunt Sapphy at the Wondrous Acres trailer park on the south side of town. Wondrous Acres was anything but wondrous. Ours was the 5th trailer in a line of 15 single-wides that sat on a flat strip of asphalt, baking in the sun or rattling in the wind, depending on the season. Some of the trailers had names over their doors instead of numbers. Tin Heaven and Dolly's Spot. Ours was just plain old number 5. But if it had been mine to name, I would have called it Make Do. We had a real house back when we lived in Battle Creek. I had a room of my own, and best of all, a cat named Mister. Mister was just a stray, somebody else's cat that had run away. But after I fed him tuna fish and milk, he didn't run away from me, so my mom said she guessed he was mine. Mister was the first friend I had who liked me best. He didn't like anybody else to pick him up, or even touch him. He slept on my pillow at night. I'd lie in the dark, rubbing him behind his soft black ears, telling him everything.